pleasant day to all of you. Today we are going to study the Operations Management Concept Introduction. Operations management is the management of systems or processes that create goods or provide services. Here is an example of organizational chart. So we have the different departments under the organization. So under the organization, we have the finance, the operations, and the marketing. So in addition to these, we also have sources department, the accounting department, and then the purchasing department. The difference between the cost of inputs and the value or price of outputs is called value added. So here in the diagram, you can see we have here the inputs, the land, the labor, and the capital. And then these inputs form, convert, or process into outputs, goods and services. So after the process, we have the feedback, and then this feedback will be for controlling. So for the controlling, all the information or the feedback from the outputs of the goods and services will be used as a transformation tool or conversion tool in order to reprocess again the input, okay, in order to have additional value. So value added, this is having features added to basic line or model for which the buyer is prepared to pay extra. So meaning all the information from the outputs, in accordance with the feedback will be used in order to control and then transform and convert all of that input and then additional value for the improved output, which are the goods and services. So that's value added. We have here the examples for food processor, the inputs, processing, and outputs. Food processor, we have the inputs, the raw vegetables, metal strips, water, energy, labor, building, and equipment. For the processing, we have the different activities, cleaning, making pans, cutting, cooking, packing, and then for the outputs, we have the finished product or the canned vegetable. For hospital process, we have inputs, the doctors and the nurses, hospital, medical supplies, equipment, and laboratories. For the processing, we have examination, surgery, monitoring, therapy. So these are the activities in order to have outputs of healthy patients. Let's differentiate production of goods versus delivery. So when we say production of goods, of course, this is an activity done for tangible output. And then delivery of services, this is an activity, okay? The product, the service or intangible product, okay? And then the service job categories are the following: government, wholesale retail, financial services, healthcare, personal services, business services, and education. So another one is the hospitality industry. So within hospitality industry, we have the personal services, okay, the business services were also included in this category. Okay. What are the key differences between goods and services? First is the customer contact, and then uniformity of input. So, and then the labor content of the jobs, of output, the measurement of productivity, the production and delivery, the quality assurance, and the amount of inventory. So just bear in mind that when we say goods, these are tangible products. And when we say services, these are intangible products. So as we have those keywords in our minds, we can explain the following on how they are differ from each other. Okay? And then for the scope of operations management, so here are the following activities. We do forecasting, capacity planning, scheduling, managing inventories, assuring quality, motivating employees, locate facilities, and human. So the responsibilities of operations management, we have planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. So for the planning, here are the activities, uh, here are the factors to, or the concentration of the planning, responsibility of an operations manager. So we have the capacity, the location, products and services, make or buy, the layout, project, and scheduling. Organizing, responsibility, we have the degree of centralization. These are the activities to be organized and the process of selection. For stopping, we have the use of overtime, directing incentive plans, issuance of work orders and job assignments. And then for the controlling, we do inventory, quality, cost, and productivity. Key decisions of operations manager. So we have the 4W and 1H. So we have the what resources and what amount, when it is needed, scheduled and ordered, where work to be done, how, the procedure in order to design all the products and services, and then who to do the work. Who are the personnel that will do the job, or that will task to do the thing. Okay, so here is the business operations overlap. Okay, so this is the focus of the business operation. So of course, in order for the business to exist, we have the finance, you know? And then the finance is the money involved. Okay? This covers all the monetary value involved in the operation. And then in order to the organization or the business to become profitable, of course, this is also important, the marketing. So marketing also needs certain amount of money from the finance department in order to market, okay, to advertise, and to do promotions for the operation. So this key is the operations, finance, and marketing. If without marketing, the operations will not be successful. And then without finance, okay, of course, marketing will not be possible, and then the operations will not also be successful. Okay. Operations interfaces. So the operations have different um, departments or sectors. We have the maintenance, we have the public relations, personnel, the MIS, the accounting, legal, purchasing, the distribution, and the industrial engineering. So these are the factors, or these are the components of operations management that an operation manager should manage. So being tasked as a manager in an operation is not an easy task. So this is not an easy job to do because you need to consider following. Okay? You need to consider that each department has smooth, and each department do not have any problems that may cause the operations to be bankrupt. So all the departments should be focused on the goals and the vision, the mission of the company in order to be successful. So this department should be interrelated, connected with each and everyone. Okay? Next, trends in business. So there are major trends. Now we have the internet, the e-commerce, and the e-business, management technology, globalization, management of supply chains, and agility. Okay? For the agility, this is the adoption of the evolution or the behaviors and values or capabilities that set in the organization. For the next topic, we have the competitiveness, strategy, and productivity. Okay. So these are the following considerations that an operation manager should bear into how to be competitive, on how to strategize, and how to be productive in every operation. Okay. So businesses compete using marketing. So we need to identify the consumer's wants and needs. That these are already tackled for the last session, okay, from the last session. So and then as well as the pricing, advertising and promotion. Okay. Advertising and promotion is very important because in this manner your business will become um, known or will be known to public. So uh, different types of promotion and advertising that you need to consider or you can do in accordance to your capability. Next is the product service design, the cost, the location, the quality, the quick response, okay? And then your business should be also flexible. You need also to work very hard on your inventory or inventory management. Of course, the supply chain management, the service. So nowadays, people are more fond of having uh, their experience to be the basis of the return of. So once the customers are satisfied on the services that we provided, they will come back. Why some organizations fail? Too much emphasis on short-term financial performance, and then failing to take advantage of strengths and opportunities, failing to recognize competitive threats, neglecting operations strategy, too much emphasis on product and service design, and not enough on improvement, neglecting investments in capital and resources, failing to establish good internal communication, failing to consider customers' wants and needs. Okay. So how are we going to prevent for our organization to be failed or to fail? So we need to do the following. Mission, we start in the mission and then we strategize and then we do or execute our tactics. How does mission, strategies, and tactics relate to decision making and distinctive competencies? Okay. Strategy. Strategies are plans for achieving organizational goals. Mission or the existence for an organization. Mission statement answer the question, what business are we in? Goals provide detail and scope of mission, and then tactics are the methods and actions taken to accomplish the strategy. Okay. For this figure, you can see the triangular shape. So we have here we have the mission on and then followed by the goals. So followed by the organizational strategies. So what are the functional goals under the organizational strategies? We need to strategize on the finance department, the marketing, okay, and then the operations. Then what are the tactics? The tactics on procedures, finance strategies, and then tactics on the operating procedures of marketing, and then tactics on operating procedures of operations. strategies. Okay, first example, okay, the mission is to have or to live a good life. For the goal, successful career, good, and then for the strategy, to obtain a college education. And then for the tactics, select a college and a major. And then for the operations, register, buy books, take courses, study, and get a job. So this is on how you have or to live a good life. Okay. Examples of strategies, low cost. So the strategies should be still be with the focus on the specialization, flexible operation, high quality service, focus on the service area. The next is, okay, okay, so strategy and tactics. Okay, for the distinctive competencies, the special attributes or abilities that give an organization a competitive edge. So these are the price, the quality, the time, flexibility, service, and location. For the distinctive example, we have here the price, the quality, the time, flexibility, service, and location. So the price should be low cost. Okay? And then for the next column, so low cost US first class postage, motel 6 red rupee. So this is the type of accommodation in establishment. Speed, low cost, price. And for the quality, high performance design or high quality, consistent quality. Then the product is Sony TV, Lexus, Cadillac, Pepsi product, and Motorola. And for the time, so we have the rapid delivery, on-time delivery. So the executor implementer is the express mail, the FedEx, 1 hour photo, and UPS. Then for the flexibility, we have variety and volume. The example here is Burger King and supermarket. Then for the service, we have the superior customer service. Example here is Disneyland and Nordstrom's. And then for the location, for convenience, the example is banks and ATMs. So this is the examples for these are the examples for distinctive competency. Operation strategy is the approach consistent with organization strategy that is used the operations function. Okay, so the operation strategy should match the organization strategy. So they should have connections. They should have one. For the strategy formulation, uh, we have the following. So we need to distinguish what are the competencies of our products and services, and then environmental science. We need to have the SWOT analysis of our business as for the strengths, weakness, and threats. Okay, the SWOT analysis, and then order qualifiers, and then order winners. For the order qualifiers, these are the characteristics that customer perceive as minimum standards of acceptability to be considered as a potential purchase. And then for the these are characteristics of an organization's goods or services that cause it to be perceived as better than the competition. So when you formulate your strategy, this is very important, you know, to describe on what is the position of your strategy. If your strategy is for order qualifiers or for order winners. You know? So again, for the order qualifiers, we have the following characteristics that the customer perceives as minimum standards of stability in order for you to be considered as a potential purchase. So meaning, it can be that the customers should or should not, or may not, have your products and services one day. And then for the order winners again, this is characteristics. These characteristics of an organization's goods or services that cause it to be perceived, no, as you win your competition, as because you are better than your competition. Okay? Here are the following key factors. We have the economic conditions, political conditions, the legal environment, technology, competition, and market. Okay. Uh, for the internal, we have the human resources, facilities, equipment, financial resources, customers, products and services, technology, and suppliers. Quality and time strategy. When we say quality-based strategies, these focuses on maintaining or improving the quality of an organization's products or services. So this is quality of the products of or services. Quality at the source. So this is based on the quality. When we say time-based strategies, this focuses on reduction of time needed to accomplish tasks. So meaning, if the time or if the allotted time will be reduced, so the output will be done in a short period of time or urgently, so that the product will be available to the customers as soon or the soonest time possible. So that will be a competitive advantage because you are to offer those or to offer the product compared to your competitors because your strategy is based on the time. Okay? So example for the time-based strategies, we have January for planning, and then February for designing, March for processing, April is for changeover or for some adjustment, and then May is for delivery. And you have your products and services on time. Okay? You have your specific allotment of activities to specific time because you want to serve your products and services as soon as time as possible. Okay, so this is an example of time-based strategy. Okay, productivity. Productivity is a measure of the effective use of resources, usually expressed as the ratio of output to input. So whenever you use the resources effectively, okay, that will be the time you can be considered for the output that you have or the ratio of output to input is product. Productivity ratios are used for planning workforce requirements, scheduling equipment, and financial analysis. Okay. Productivity is equals outputs over inputs. Partial measures output, okay, or the single output, or sorry, over the single input, and then multipliers output over multiple inputs. The total measure is output over total inputs. Okay. For example, okay, for the measures of productivity, for the partial measures, okay, we have the output over the labor, the machine, the capital, and the energy. And then multi-factor measures, we have the output, labor, and then output, labor, plus the capital, plus the energy. Okay? And then for the total measure, we have the goods or services produced over all inputs used to produce them. Here in the multi-factor measures, you can see here that the labor is also included in the input. No? So a machine will not be operated or will not operate by its own. Okay, so you need to have a labor in order to operate a machine. So for another one is you also need a labor, no, plus your capital and you will provide. And then we have the total measure. So for the partial, you only have the specific, no, you have the labor, machine, capital, and the energy. Okay, not included the labor in the machine. So here in the multi-factor, you add the labor in the machine, and then labor, capital. Okay, so for example of partial productivity measures, labor productivity example is units of output per labor hour, units of output per shift, and value added per labor hour. And then machine productivity, units of output per machine hour, and then machine hour. And capital productivity, units of output per peso unit or per peso input, and then peso value of output per peso input. And then for the energy productivity, we have the units of output per kilowatt hour, and then the peso of output, peso value of output per kilowatt hour. Number three, okay. So what is the multi-factor productivity? So we have here the 7,040 units produced. So sold for 1.10 peso per unit. So this is just an example. The cost of labor of 1,000 pesos and the cost of materials of 520. And then cost of overhead to 2,000 pesos. Okay. So when we say overhead cost, this is ongoing expense of operating a business. So the answer here is 2.20. Okay. So for the computation, the output is over the labor plus materials plus the overhead. Okay. And then for the multi-factor productivity, we have the 7,040 multiplied to 1.10. Okay. And then over the labor, which is amounting to 1, and then materials to 520, and then for the overhead of 2,000. And then we have the multi-factor productivity of 2.20. Okay. So the 1.10 is the cost per unit. So we have here 7,000 units. So multiply to the cost of uh, amount per unit. So that's why we have the following. So we have this answer. So we have 7,040 multiplied by 1.10 over 1,000 plus 520 plus 2,000. So we have 2.20 multi-factor productivity. So you can uh, practice computing this. You can double check that this is correct. Okay, you can practice on how to get the multi-factor productivity. Okay, so factors affecting productivity. Of course, we have capital. We need to have capital, the quality of the products and services, even the raw materials. Okay, and then inputs, all the inputs should be in high quality, and then the technology, and of course, management. The other factors affecting productivity, the standardization, the quality, use of internet. Okay, computer viruses is another factor. No? If your computer, you save all the documents in your computer and suddenly it becomes corrupted, no? It's very, it will also cause a problem to your productivity. For lost or misplaced items, scrap rates, and then report rates. When we say scrap rate, the percentage of failed materials, no? So the number or the percentage of errors that the procedure takes. No? So this is for affecting the productivity. Okay. Other factors are safety, shortage of IT workers, the layoff, labor turnover, the sign of the workplace, and incentive plans that reward productivity. Okay. How to improve productivity, develop productivity measures, determine critical bottleneck operations, develop methods for productivity improvement, then establish reasonable goals, get management support, measures the improvement, then don't confuse the measure and publicize improvement, then don't confuse productivity with efficiency. Okay. So these are the ways on how to improve productivity. So I have here a video about productivity and then competitiveness. Please watch the following videos in YouTube and then apply this to your um, takeaways or to your learning from today's discussion. Okay? I hope you learned something from today. I hope everybody is safe and healthy. That will be all for today's discussion. Thank you very much.